The Dollmaker's Curse. Emma Reynolds, a struggling artist, lived in a quaint village with cobblestone streets and ancient cathedrals. Her studio overlooked the mist-shrouded cemetery where many stories were buried. One rainy evening, Emma found an antique doll on her doorstep. It was exquisitely crafted but worn with age. Curious and captivated, she brought it inside, unaware of its dark history. As Emma began restoring the doll, strange occurrences started. Shadows moved on their own, and whispers echoed through her studio. She dismissed them as tricks of her mind. The doll's eyes seemed to follow Emma wherever she went. She couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Her obsession with the doll grew, and so did the eerie events. Lucy, Emma's loyal best friend, noticed the changes in her. "You need a break, Emma," Lucy said, worried. But Emma was determined to uncover the doll's secrets. Emma's research led her to Professor Jonathan Blackwood, a retired historian. He was an expert on local folklore and legends. "You say the doll just appeared?" he asked, intrigued. "Yes, and since then, my life has been strange," Emma replied. Professor Blackwood agreed to help her uncover the doll's origins, sensing there was more to this tale. The professor discovered the doll was crafted by Eleanor Gray, a mysterious dollmaker who lived centuries ago. Eleanor's life ended tragically, and her spirit was said to be restless. Emma learned that Eleanor Gray had been wronged by the villagers. Betrayed and heartbroken, she cursed the doll, binding her vengeful spirit to it, seeking revenge from beyond. As Emma delved deeper, the doll's malevolent presence intensified. Objects flew off shelves, and chilling laughter echoed in the night. The curse was growing stronger. Lucy, though skeptical, stayed by Emma's side. One night, she felt an icy hand grip her shoulder. She screamed, and the doll's eyes seemed to glow with a sinister light. Determined to break the curse, Emma and Lucy sought out Professor Blackwood. "We must perform a ritual to release Eleanor's spirit," he said, "but it won't be easy." The ritual required items from the cemetery where Eleanor was buried. Armed with lanterns, they ventured into the mist-shrouded graveyard, the air thick with foreboding. They found Eleanor's grave, unmarked and forgotten. As they gathered the needed items, they felt a chilling presence. The ground seemed to tremble beneath their feet. Back at Emma's studio, they prepared for the ritual. The atmosphere was tense, filled with a palpable sense of dread. The doll lay at the center, its eyes gleaming ominously. Professor Blackwood recited ancient incantations. The room grew colder, and shadows twisted unnaturally. The doll's mouth moved, whispering words of vengeance and sorrow. "We have to finish this," Emma urged, her voice trembling. Lucy held her hand, giving her strength. Together, they poured their will into breaking the curse. Suddenly, a spectral figure appeared. It was Eleanor Gray, her face a mask of anguish and rage. "Why did you betray me?" she wailed, her voice echoing through the room. Emma stepped forward. "Eleanor, we know your pain. We're here to free you." The spirit's eyes bore into hers, searching for sincerity. The room grew deathly silent. Eleanor's form wavered, her anger battling against the promise of peace. "Will you truly release me?" she asked, her voice filled with centuries of longing and despair. "Yes," Emma replied, her heart aching for the dollmaker's suffering. "It's time to let go and find peace." The air crackled with energy as the final words of the ritual were spoken. A blinding light enveloped the room. The doll began to shake, and then, with a deafening crack, it shattered. Eleanor's spirit rose, a look of relief washing over her face. "Thank you," she whispered before vanishing into the light. The oppressive atmosphere lifted, and warmth returned to the room. The curse was finally broken. Emma, Lucy, and Professor Blackwood stood in stunned silence. The ordeal was over, but the impact lingered. Emma felt a newfound resolve to honor Eleanor's memory. In the days that followed, the village seemed brighter. The shadows that had haunted Emma's studio were gone, replaced by a sense of peace and closure. Emma's art flourished as she channeled her experiences into her work. Her paintings told the story of Eleanor Gray, the dollmaker whose spirit had found release. Professor Blackwood continued his research, documenting the events. He became a frequent visitor to Emma's studio, sharing tales of folklore and history. Lucy, ever the supportive friend, helped Emma organize an exhibition. It was a tribute to Eleanor Gray, showcasing the restored doll and paintings inspired by her story. The villagers attended the exhibition, intrigued by the tale of the cursed doll. They learned of their ancestors' wrongdoings and the power of forgiveness. Eleanor's story is a reminder of the past's sins and the importance of making amends, Emma said during the opening. The villagers nodded, reflecting on the lessons learned. The exhibition was a success, bringing Emma recognition and a sense of fulfillment. She had not only overcome the curse but also brought a piece of history to light. Emma and Lucy often visited the mist-shrouded cemetery, placing flowers on Eleanor's grave. It was no longer a place of fear, but one of remembrance and respect. The village thrived, its residents more united than ever. The curse had been a dark chapter, but it also brought them closer, strengthening their bonds. Emma's life had changed in unimaginable ways. She found solace in her art and in the friendships that had deepened through the ordeal. The future looked bright. One evening, as the sun set over the village, Emma stood at her studio window, gazing at the cemetery. She felt a sense of peace, knowing Eleanor was finally at rest. The doll's remnants were kept in a glass case at the exhibition. It served as a reminder of the past and the enduring power of forgiveness and understanding. Professor Blackwood gifted Emma a book on local legends, inscribed with a note, "To Emma, for your courage and compassion. May you always find inspiration in the past." Lucy continued to be Emma's rock, their friendship stronger than ever. They often laughed about the strange events, grateful for the bond they shared. The village's children listened wide-eyed to the story of the cursed doll, told by their parents. It became a part of local folklore, a tale of redemption and bravery. Emma's reputation as an artist grew. She received commissions from neighboring villages, each piece infused with the lessons she'd learned from Eleanor's story. Though the curse was lifted, the memory of Eleanor Gray lingered. Emma often felt a gentle presence in her studio, a reminder of the spirit who had found peace. The exhibition became an annual event, celebrating the village's history and the stories that shaped it. It was a time of reflection and renewal for the community. As years passed, Emma's art became synonymous with the village's rich history. She was proud of her work and the journey that had led her to this point. Lucy pursued her passion for writing, inspired by the events they had lived through. Her stories captivated readers, blending history with a touch of the supernatural. Professor Blackwood continued to be a mentor and friend, his knowledge invaluable to both Emma and the village. His tales of folklore enchanted young and old alike. One day, Emma received a letter from a distant relative of Eleanor Gray. They expressed gratitude for freeing their ancestors' spirit and sharing her story with the world. Emma felt a profound connection to Eleanor and her legacy. She had turned a curse into a blessing, weaving it into the fabric of the village's identity. The village flourished, its past no longer a shadow but a guiding light. The story of the cursed doll became a symbol of hope, redemption, and the strength of community. Emma's studio was a sanctuary of creativity and remembrance. Each brushstroke was a tribute to Eleanor, the dollmaker whose tragic tale had touched so many lives. Lucy and Emma often reminisced about their adventures, laughing and sometimes tearing up. They knew their bond was unbreakable, forged in the fires of their shared experiences. Professor Blackwood's health began to decline, but his spirit remained strong. He passed on his knowledge to a new generation, ensuring the village's stories lived on. Emma felt a sense of fulfillment, knowing she had played a part in healing the village. Her journey was one of growth, resilience, and the power of art to transform. On the anniversary of Eleanor's release, the village gathered at the cemetery. They held a ceremony, honoring her memory and the lessons her story had imparted. Emma stood by Eleanor's grave, a single white rose in hand. "Thank you," she whispered, placing the flower gently on the ground. The air was filled with a sense of peace. The village's children danced and sang, celebrating their heritage. The story of the cursed doll was told with pride, a testament to the power of forgiveness and understanding. Emma's art continued to thrive, her paintings sought after by collectors far and wide. Each piece carried a piece of Eleanor's spirit, a reminder of the past's enduring legacy. Lucy's writing brought joy to many, her stories weaving magic and history together. She and Emma knew their paths were forever intertwined, their friendship a source of strength. As the village basked in the glow of the setting sun, Emma felt a profound sense of gratitude. The journey had been long and arduous, but it had led to healing and renewal. The Dollmaker's curse was no more, but its lessons remained. Emma, Lucy, and the villagers carried them in their hearts, a reminder that even in darkness, there is light.